A bounty hunter is believed to be one of the people who shot and killed a man this morning in Dallas. Good evening, I'm Steve Vieger. It's 9 o'clock. Police have not released the identities of the victim or the two suspects facing charges tonight. Investigators say the man was shot while sitting in his car, and then he drove about 2 blocks before crashing into a utility pole. Fox 4's Peyton Yeager has more from the investigation. Peyton?
Steve, Dallas police shut down a busy intersection today near downtown Dallas. Homicide detectives on scene all day. Dallas police tell us there were 2 shooters. Sources tell us one of them was a bounty hunter. Thursday afternoon, 2 white BMWs were towed away following an hours-long investigation near Deep Ellum in Dallas. One hauled away for evidence, the other with multiple bullet holes on the side and damage after slamming head-on into a power pole at the intersection of Live Oak Street and Cantegral Street, just across the street from the Tom Thumb.
We were sitting on the phone, and all of a sudden there was a loud screech of tires, about 2 or 3 gunshots, a large sound that was directed into the electrical pole.
Dallas police say 2 unnamed suspects shot a man who was sitting in his car on Florence Street, not far from the scene of the crash, and then chased him until he crashed out. A police source tells Fox 4 at least one of those suspects is a bounty hunter, and the victim was someone who apparently skipped out on bail. It's unclear if the second suspect was also a bounty hunter. Both were taken into custody.
And when I kind of looked in the officer's eyes, I was like, oh, this is dangerous. You know, something really serious happened.
Witnesses like Samuel Levitt say they saw 2 people wearing vests in plain clothes. Others who live nearby sent us cell phone video from the scene. This one showing a close-up of the shot-up BMW with its airbags deployed. Another video from a tenant's balcony overhead shows the power pole on top of the vehicle, causing power to be knocked out in the area.
Absolutely crazy. A ton of police activity.
The identity of the man who was shot and killed hasn't been released yet. We know 2 suspects again were taken into custody to be interviewed. Their identities haven't been released yet either, and charges are pending. We're still waiting to see if charges will be filed. Steve?
All right, that's Peyton Yeager in Dallas tonight. Peyton, thank you. Fort Worth police say a man has confessed to killing a woman and throwing her body off a bridge 3 months ago. Dennis Day charged with killing his roommate, Reina Nofalulure. She was a flight attendant who was last seen alive in March. Her co-workers reported her missing. Her body has not been found. Fox 4's Casey Stiegel has more from the investigation. Casey?
Yeah, Steve, good evening. Fort Worth police say that the victim's roommate not only confessed to strangling the 47-year-old flight attendant, but he also admitted to dumping her body and her personal belongings in multiple places.
There are times
that word is hard to say, saying murder. So we've just been writing killed.
when the world reminds you how cruel it can be.
It's not fair. It's not right.
Those who knew and loved 47-year-old Reina Soluri are still trying to reconcile what happened to her. Police say inside this small blue house in the Eastern Hills part of Fort Worth.
It was really a shocker, to be honest.
Reina Soluri's friends say she'd been living at the home the last year with 66-year-old Dennis Day after she fell on tough financial times. Her family, including her 23-year-old daughter, hadn't heard from Reina. In late March, she didn't show up for her job as an Envoy Airlines flight attendant, so her family reported her missing. Dennis Day initially told police he didn't know where she was. Detectives investigated further, and according to the arrest warrant affidavit, obtained a clip from home surveillance cameras, which shows Day on March 21st, quote, dragging what appears to be a lifeless body from the home into the backyard.
She was always a great person to talk to. A ton of fun.
Reina's friends know that's her, only adding to the torment, her body has not been recovered. Records show last Monday, Dennis Day finally admitted to police he snapped, strangled Reina, drove her body more than 40 miles away to Bowie and dumped it over a bridge, then ditched her phone and other belongings in the river near Fort Worth. He was arrested and charged with murder. Reina's family now begging for her to be found, saying nobody deserves this.
Raina was amazing. She would give the shirt off her back. She would come to you if you needed that help.
Now, court documents do also show that Dennis Day has a lengthy rap sheet. He's already spent years of his life locked up for other violent crimes, including an aggravated assault in Dallas. Steve.
All right, Casey Stiegel. Thank you, Casey.
The parents of a murdered TCU student confronted his killer in court. It was emotional as they described how his random act of violence cut a life short. The man charged with shooting and killing a TCU student in 2023 pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 60 years in prison. I'm Clarice Tinsley. Investigators say the attack outside of a bar in Fort Worth was seemingly random. Fox 4's Deanna England joins us with more from today's hearing. Deanna.
Hi there, Clarice. Well, today's sentencing proceeding represents a family finding justice and the collective will to move forward after the murder of their loved one. Matthew Purdy entered the courtroom in handcuffs, his face void of expression, his hair quite longer than at the time of his arrest in 2023. He is moments away from sentencing. It was September 1st of that year when Purdy admitted he randomly selected, then shot and killed Wes Smith, a TCU college junior, a well-known athlete and student who was out late with friends in Fort Worth's West 7th Street Entertainment District.
You physically murdered and executed Wes, but you emotionally and psychologically murdered thousands of other people, including probably everyone in this courtroom. No one is safe in your presence. You're a threat to everyone in this courtroom. You're a threat to everyone in this city.
Smith, at the time, had stepped outside of a bar to hail a ride home for two female friends.
I believe my son Wes died as a hero that day. He was trying to help two women, doing what I had encouraged him to do, take care of people, particularly as a man, take care of young women. And in doing that, you executed him.
Purdy, in a move avoiding a trial, pleaded guilty and is sentenced to 60 years in prison for murdering Smith. The 21-year-old victim's parents spoke to Purdy directly.
And I keep my thoughts on Wes and God's promises. And you, honestly, I try not to think about, and I leave you with God for his will to be done.
Smith's murder sparked widespread reaction across the TCU campus and the city of Fort Worth and his hometown near Memphis, Tennessee. His killing, along with numerous other acts of violence in the West 7th Bar District, has prompted changes to municipal laws and overall tighter security measures.
You didn't know Wes. You've never met him. But in that moment, you made a devastating, senseless, evil choice. You decided that you mattered more than he did.
And for Smith's many relatives, friends, supporters, and even strangers who offered the family condolences, they now move forward in his memory.
We feel like it gives the family some peace to put this part behind them and to hopefully start to grieve. We think it also assures the safety of our community away from him.
Now, Purdy was also sentenced on 8 other felony charges, including pistol whipping a young woman following the shooting that night. The sentences will run concurrently. That's the very latest live in Fort Worth. Clarice, back to you.
Iran's supreme leader warned the United States against future attacks in his first public appearance since signing a ceasefire agreement with Israel. Ayatollah Ali Khamenei says Iran delivered a slap to America's face by striking a U.S. airbase in Qatar earlier this month. No one was injured in the strike. Damage was minimal. The supreme leader also downplayed U.S. strikes on 3 Iranian nuclear sites on Sunday. The White House responded to Khamenei's video, accusing him of trying to save face. Fox's Trey Yingst is in Tel Aviv with the very latest.
From Tel Aviv to Tehran, cities are bustling again with life after the 12-day war between Israel and Iran came to an end, while civilians express relief that an intense exchange of fire between the two countries is over. Officials on both sides are claiming victory while preparing for possible conflict ahead.
This is an event that could very well be repeated in the future. If aggression occurs, the cost for both the enemy and the protester will certainly be high.
We fought with strength against Iran and achieved a great victory.
Focus inside Israel is now shifting to the Gaza Strip, where after nearly 630 days of war, 50 hostages remain in Hamas captivity. 20 are believed to be alive. The families of those held in Gaza are calling for an end to the war and the return of their loved ones.
We have proven that when the U.S. and Israel work together, there is nothing that can stand in our way, no matter how challenging the enemy. President Trump, please, put your foot down, bring all 50 hostages back home, and make the Middle East great again.
Israeli media reports tonight that a ceasefire could be reached to end the war in Gaza within 2 weeks. In Tel Aviv, Trey Yingst, Fox News.